I'm Amy Asmus of Asmus Farm Supply. Welcome to this week's Ag Update. As many of you know, I work in the industry with several issues, but the one I'm most passionate about is resistance management. And today we have a group of people here from all over the U.S. that is talking about that issue. One of the people I'd like to welcome today is Dr. David Shaw from Mississippi State University. So tell me, what would you like to share with our growers about resistance management?
Well, of course, this is an incredibly challenging problem that we're facing, and the group that we have together today is really talking about it from a number of different perspectives. We have people from academia, we have growers, we have industry sales, industry R&D, just a wide variety of folks, all bringing a lot of different perspectives. But I think one of the things that we're really spending the most time on now is that this is really a much bigger problem than just a technology problem or a chemistry problem or even a biology problem. It's really much more about the decisions we as humans are making that cause the problem. And so until we really back up and understand that and the root causes of why we make those decisions, we really can't address the problem. And there's a lot of conversation going on about silver bullets. You know, what's the next big thing that's coming to solve the problem? And I think industry and academia and everyone knows that that silver bullet is not out there. And so it means that we're really going to have to rethink kind of from a systems approach how we address resistance development and resistance management in some really different ways.
So, Dr. Shaw, I work with you on the national level. Can you tell my growers why it's important for me not to just work with people in Iowa and the corn and soybeans and the Des Moines lobe and the heavy soils? Why do we talk across the U.S. on resistance management? Because Mississippi State is very different in the cropping system and the environments than Iowa.
Well, you know, it's a great question, and I think, you know, there's two specific things that come to my mind in answer to that. Number one, we're all human, and we all have some of the same tendencies. Some of the same tendencies, for example, to overuse a technology until it's worn out. And so there's examples of that not only across the entire United States, but around the world. And so we've done a lot of exploration of what's going on across the country in a lot of different climates and a lot of different cropping systems. And what we're seeing is that every place that there's a real crisis, growers are coming together to be able to develop solutions to the problems that they're experiencing that really fit their needs, but also there's a lot of exploration of good ideas that are happening in other places. And so, for example, today we have 3 individuals from the Pacific Northwest, and they're dealing with a tremendous problem with the development of 3 different weed species in their wheat cropping systems that are basically resistant to every class of chemistry that's available. And so now they're having to step back and say, well, all right, we have highly erodible soils, and so tillage is not a great option. And so they're having to fundamentally rethink their entire cropping system to be able to think about how they can continue to farm. And so they're here to learn some of the lessons of what's going on in Iowa, to take some good ideas back that might be sparked from what's going on here back to the Pacific Northwest. And in the same way, you and your team are listening to the problems that they're experiencing and the ideas that they have and the challenges that they have and the solutions that they're working on to be able to think about how that's applicable here in Iowa on the heavy soils that you're trying to farm. And so I think so much of it is we're trying to create this community of individuals that are all interested in trying to address this very difficult problem and bring a lot of ideas together so that we can all learn from each other.
Excellent, excellent answer. I like that. For our growers out there listening to this that may feel they have some issues with resistance management, how do you think they should go about maybe finding a community of stakeholders that they can that they can work with to talk about the issues they have in resistance management?
Well, I think, obviously, it has to be local, but that local can mean a lot of different things in a lot of different places. And let me give you a couple of examples. The example in the Pacific Northwest, there's about 2 or 3 producers that came to Washington State University and the weed scientists there and said, we have a problem and we need help in trying to figure out how we can organize kind of a movement to be able to address this problem. And in the same way, there in Mississippi, we have an individual from the National Cotton Council that's based in Mississippi, and we're dealing with a very different set of problems because it's much more of a holistic stewardship, because right now the way that our growers have often been trying to address glyphosate resistance in soybeans and cotton is through dicamba technology. Well, that in and of itself has created a very big black eye for the agricultural industry. And so now those growers are beginning to come together to say, all right, we have to correct the problems that we have caused with public perception about agriculture. And so now they are forming some county level grower groups to begin the conversation about how to do that. And so I don't know that there is one simple answer on that, but I think it's finding a few like-minded individuals that are passionate about wanting to address whatever the problem is, and then also find the experts that know how to be able to help facilitate that conversation, and whether that's an Asmus farm supply, or whether it's the county extension office or the university or a grower and commodity organization. There's a lot of different ways that can come together, and I think it just needs to fit the context of that situation.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. And for our growers out there, please remember, if you have questions about resistance management, or if you would like help talking to some of the stakeholders that we can bring together to look not for solutions, but for ways to better manage it in the future, please contact me or your local AFS agronomist.